Welcome to Inside Outboards with your host, Kodibass.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big hello to all you new subscribers. Thanks you for stopping in here and joining us. I want to say I hope that everybody had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's, and here we are, 2025. So, yeah, I hope everybody had a good, happy, safe Christmas and New Year's. I want to thank those that had sent me cards, and I got sent a couple other small items, gifts. I really do thank you for sending those. I'll get a little list together so I can read the names off, and I do appreciate it for sure. And this video here, we're just going to get back on this Honda little cutie. 15 horsepower 4-stroke, and in the titles I've been putting like custom mod, all this, because I'll give you a little backstory on this motor. Really, I should say motors, because a lady stopped by here and told me she had a couple of outboards up at her place, and they had a shop up there that she was wanting to turn into like a garden shed, because they were going to erect a hoop house, greenhouse, and she wanted all that stuff out of there. And she said her teenage son had gotten a hold of these outboards and tried to fix them, tried to do whatever. And she said, if you want them, just come on up here and get them. So she told me where she lived. I went up there, and yeah, the teenage son had went at him pretty hard. This Honda 15 here, it came in 3 separate chunks. The lower unit was off. The bolts for the lower unit I couldn't find. I think I found one. So then you had the midsection. The power head was off in a box with some other peripherals to the engine. But couple things that were missing that were just was the intake manifold and the carburetor. It was gone. So I was like, but it had a lot of other good parts on it. So I was like, you know, parts is parts is parts. So I threw it all in my truck. And then she gave me another outboard with this one. It was more complete, and I can't even remember what it was. I think it was a little Johnson, like 7.5, 5, something like that. And it needed a lot less work, if I remember. I fixed a few things on it and then sold it. But this one, I took all the loose parts and put in that box with the power head that was missing, the carburetor, the intake manifold, and then with these carburetors you get this plastic silencer that the carburetor bolts go through. So it works as a silencer slant bar spacer, and you got to have that, or it's nice to have that, because when the carburetor's all mounted to the intake manifold, the length has to be pretty correct so that the linkage for the choke and the throttle, because on these they have a twist grip that operates a rod. So I was like, well, I don't get a lot of Hondas around here, especially the smaller ones. I just don't get a lot of them. So I put the lower unit out there in the lower unit box, and then I took the midsection, hung on the rack out here, put the bonnet on top, and said, well, you never know. It wasn't no more than a month. A fella pulls in here in the truck, gets out, introduces himself, says, hey, I've got some old outboard parts. I was going to throw them in that dumpster right down there, and then I remembered you. Thought you might be able to use these. So I walk around to the back of his truck. He had a capper on it. He opens it up, and lo and behold, sitting in a milk crate, a double milk crate, was a Honda 15 horsepower powerhead. It was completely tore apart. I mean, they had the block split, they had the head off, but there was the carburetor and the intake manifold. And I said, yes sir, you bet I want them parts. So there I had my intake manifold, I had my carburetor, and even the metal gasket that goes up under the power head. The original one was in that box out there too, but it was kind of bent up and stuff, and the one he had looked great. So I had what I needed then. And he had the power head bolts in a little baggie, because the power head bolts for this one, that when I went and picked it up, they were gone. So I've had to overcome a lot of stuff, and then there is some carnage on this little kicker, and I will point that out as we go along with it. So she's dirty and she's rough and been sitting forever, but I've added a lot of things to this motor that's going to make it a good little trolling motor, I believe. Now, I don't even know if this lower unit's any good. I put it on there with 2 bolts, and I run it, and the water pump works. It pees really good. And when I shift it, you know, you can feel the indents, but I ain't got no propeller on it yet. But as soon as that one dries, I'll get the shaft all greased up and we'll get that done. So we're going to get back on this one, and you know, we'll just see how it goes. You never ever know. And then I'll point out some of the things that I've done to it, that I've added to it. I'll show you how I overcame the silencer thing. Because see, that air silencer, you've got these 2 like at least 6-inch 10mm bolts that go through the silencer, go through the spacers, go through the carburetor, go through the gaskets, and then finally into the intake. And that all is all sandwiched together with them 2 big long 10mm bolts. So I had to overcome that, and I'll point all that out as we go. So I say, shout we go. Let's get at it. Clean that up some there, get that off of there. The little paint thinner. Same up front. Not too bad. Not too shabby-labby. Not too bad, I'd say. And then I got one more little custom thing I'm going to do to this hood. Just one more, but first I got to get some paint thinner and clean up my overspray down here and such. And I will. And I will, for sure. So it's my understanding that these boats, several of them, are going to be scrapped. The Van Elliott, I know for sure it's going to be scrapped. And the other ones, it's my understanding they could be bought or they'll just be scrapped. At least that's what I've been hearing. Same with these. They're so far behind on their mortgage, on their slip mortgage and stuff, that they pulled them, and they can either be bought or they're going to be scrapped. Here's the back of the Van Elliott. That's what they said they were going to do with them, but they've been sitting here for quite a while. People's dreams. That's a big bayliner there. The Gore Point. I don't know the make on that one there, but it's a nice little boat. Amongst all these big boats, the Kilkenny. Yeah, old wooden boat. Guardian Angel, that's the back of her. Oh, I bet that old boat could tell some stories, huh? Big old wooden boat. Bet it rode nice. That back end like that. When you were in a following sea, be just like breaking around the bow almost. Yep. Pulling them old wood boats out the water. That's the death of them. And over there we got more big boats. Real big boats. Now over there, these ones are being worked on. Not necessarily these ones, but that one is definitely being worked on. Big boats. This one. I use this one. Righto. Now what I'm doing here is customizing. You understand? I'm doing a little customizing. I'll show you. I'm going to show you, not right now, but I'm going to show you here in a little bit of skinny. I'm going to show you the skinny. Boo, 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 boo. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. All right. Let me get to showing you some of this other stuff. But I can get that outboard in a better position, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'll show you some of the carnage, but first I want to get the bolts set up and so forth. So, like I was saying in the last video, I got this engine in boxes. 2 boxes. Came in 3 chunks. It had the lower unit, the midsection, and then the power head was off. I don't even know what size that is. But anyway, that's how I received it. And I've been slowly putting this thing, or trying to put this thing back together. And so I had to I found one lower unit bolt. And I think that's the wrong size socket. I'll be back. And so I went down today to the old Hanky hardware store, and I took that one bolt with me, which is of course metric, and then I got the bolts. I'm gonna have to get a smaller ratchet, I think, 1/4 inch. Yeah. Okay, so this is the last bolt. I like this grease right here. I put it on these props, come back, took them props off year and a half later. That grease is still nice and green and still there. I like it. I like this grease. It's good grease. Yeah, and you don't have to be afraid about putting that on there either. This old outboard will like you. It will like you for doing that. There my geese. Then you're going to put this thrust washer on there. And it goes, you can see the skinny end. Then it's got a wider end, narrower end. It's going to go like that. You see that fits in that prop that way. It won't fit that way. It fits in there to go like that. So that's the way you want to put it on, with the skinny side and the flange toward the back. Then that propeller come up. Party. It's a party. It's Cody. It's little Cody. So then we put the old propeller on there. So do. Now see, this was an extra thrust washer I had. Then we put the outer washer, like them so. Then, we have to put our stainless or brass. Ooh, I love me some brass. I love when I get them old outboards, you know, from the 50s, from the 50s. And they got that brass key in there and all that other brass on it. I like that. They're my little keys. You can't get away. All right, castle nut. Look how small Honda makes that. That little castle nut they use. Look at that, look how dinky. You get one on a Nissan, about this vintage, this thing will be 4 times that size. But that's what they go with. Little bitty dinky with a little bitty itty bitty teeny weeny itty bitty. Alright, so we screwed into that on. And we're gonna make it snug is all. Snug, and then I like to back off just a little bit. Now in this case, I'm gonna have to back off a little more because I got one of them castle walls right in the way. A little more. Right there ought to do it though, I think. Yeah, I think it'll work. Get her in there. Might have to come back the other way a little more. No, she went. She's going. There it is. Alrighty. There that is. Boy, it was good with that propeller on. Get my geese over here. And I ain't gonna waste this geese on this stick. There's places that can be used just fine. There's rub in there and some in there, you know. You don't waste the geese. Use every drop. Every little bitty, itty bitty, teeny bitty, itty bitty drop. Alright, so. We're getting close. Now I gotta show you some other things, some custom I did on this motor. Okay. Let me unhook that to show you the custom. Okay. There it is. Well, I can slide this thing out this way, son. And that'll get us more to the custom. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to move you around some now. Up you go to the top floor. And then we got to do some of the other tweaky stuff right up there, I think. Now, I'm gonna zing it in right in here on this old Carburetor. Okay, this is a carburetor I got from a guy who brought me some more parts. I cleaned it up real good in my ultrasonic cleaner and whatnot. The problem, if you want to call it that, these two 10mm bolts, they stab all the way through everything. The gasket, spacers, everything. Well, what's supposed to go here in the front is a plastic air silencer with a screen in it. I didn't have that, so I made these spacers. I just took a piece of aluminum round stock, drilled a hole best I could through the center of them, cut them about the same length within a fraction of each other, because the threads were real forgiving with that. It's real deep. I put the spacers with a washer on each one and put it back. You've got to get this spacing right, or these, your throttle rod, boom, 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 it won't work. Your choke, it won't work because it can't reach or whatever. So you got to get this spacing on the carburetor completely close to what Honda said, or what Honda built. So there's some more little bit of custom I did. But, you know, the thing is, I put the lower unit on it and everything. I don't know if this engine even runs, you know, I know the engine, the power head runs. I don't know if that lower unit's any good. But we're going to find out real quick here. Yes, we are.
Well, I remember I came down here about 4 months ago. This is Gibson Cove. And there was an old cannery sitting right there on that docking platform and right here on the gravel. And so I told you they were going to tear it down. And they did. And here's what's left of her. The historic Gibson Cove cannery. Just a pile and a heap of a heap. Nothing much left. The windmills are milling, except for that one. The rest of them are. On Pillar Mountain. And as you can see, no snow. Yippee! But there's what's left of the Gibson Cove Fish Cannery. Just a big old pile of scrap. Way over there, that is the ever so stinky bio dry, where they take all the fish guts and waste and everything and turn it into fish meal. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys what's left. Ain't much.
There's a little Honda. See, she's peeing really good. Forward. She's really strong. Neutral. reverse, neutral, and stop. All right. And stop. Now let's see. Oh. I got one more thing to show you on the custom side, on the detailing side. Sure do. But I got to show you this one last hack, this little mod that I did. You understand? You know, I taped off what I could, you know, on the back and saved the Honda 15. It says Honda on the other side, just like it says here. But what I want y'all to see is this. Ooh, woo! Is that some detailing for you? Ain't it purty? I'm sure that come off a Honda car, a Honda motorcycle, who knows. But I said that's gonna take front center stage for my last little detailing on this thing. So a little bit of tuning yet, getting everything tweaked up, and I'll run her one more time for you guys. Now, that's another thing I got to do is put some water in that tank. It's got not near enough, so I got to get a hose and put some water in my tank. That way I don't have to drop that lower unit down as far as I did this time. So got a few little things to do. We'll get them done, but she's coming right along. I'm happy to see it shift and run and go in and out of gears properly. I didn't hear of course I didn't get to run it good in reverse, but I didn't hear any clunking, knocking, or anything like that. That's a good sign. So I'm hoping this will make me a good little trolling motor. I'm gonna slap it on my Bay Runner skiff while I get my Zuki DT40 all electrified. Yeah, I'm gonna put electric start and all that on that one too, but I'm gonna keep my recoil start too. But I've got to add a rectifier and all that, and that's something that I've failed to do in this video. I'll do it in the next video. While I had it running, I should have tested with a test light the output of the rectifier on this one, and we'll do that. We'll certainly do that. So that's going to be a wrap on this one, and as always, I hope you found a hack in there somewhere, 'cause that is one more hack from Kodiak. Thanks for watching. More vids are coming on Inside Outboards with your host, Kodibass.